In today's video, we're going to talk about the Actions API. So, the Selenium's Action API is part of Selenium's WebDriver framework, which is commonly used for automating web browsers. This API allows users to perform complex user interactions on web pages that may not be achievable with simple commands. The Action API provides a way to simulate more advanced users' interactions. This can include four main types of interactions that I've shown on this slide right here. The first is mouse interactions, which involve clicking, double-clicking, right-clicking, dragging, and dropping elements. Next, we have keyboard interactions, which can include typing text, pressing keys like the Enter or Tab, and then also key combinations like Control-C and Control-V. We also have scroll wheel actions, which involve scrolling up and down on the page and so on. And we have pen actions. In this video today, we're going to focus on mouse interactions, keyboard interactions, and scroll wheel actions. The Actions API in Selenium WebDriver is usually used in conjunction with the Actions class. And I'm going to show you a basic example on this page right here. And then later on, I'll show you how we can integrate it into our own code project. So the actions, we start with an actions chain right here, and then we pass in a Chrome driver. And then within there, we can do some different elements, different commands. So we have the move to element right here. And then we can make it pause for a second. And then we can do click and hold as well, which is a mouse interaction. And then we can also pause for 2 seconds. And then so we can do send keys, which we type in Selenium text. And then we can do perform, which basically performs all of these actions above. So this is like an action chain that we use. So this chain of actions, once you call upon it right here, it will perform all these actions. And yeah. Next is the Actions API allows you to create more complex interactions like this, which can be useful in automating web applications that require such interactions. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how we can create this code in your own project. So right here I have one of the projects open from our previous videos, and I'm just going to create a new script in this project. So I'm going to go ahead and go to test here, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to create new Python file. And for this one, I'm going to name it test underscore selenium underscore actions API. So action API, and then go ahead and press enter. So first things I'm going to do after creating this is I'm going to do a few things and import a few statements. So some packages that we need to use. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that and paste it here. So I imported time, I imported the actions chain, which I'll show you later. It's basically we can create a chain of events using the Actions API. And then we also imported scroll wheel actions.wheel input, scroll origin as well, and then import by right here. So now after we've created that, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you a bunch of different scenarios and different actions that we can mimic using the Actions API. Since there's a lot of different actions that we can use, I'm going to try to be quick with each of the lines of code. So first definition we're going to create right here, I'm just going to paste it over and I'll walk through it with you. So the first thing we do is send keys. And what this does is we go to this URL, admlucid.com right here. And then we sleep for 3 seconds. And then we specify text box 1 right here. And we use it by using the ID, we use text 1. And then right here, we create an actions chain. And so what the actions chain does is it's the bunch of different actions that we want to do using the Actions API. So the first thing that we do, we use move to element to move our mouse to the text box 1. And then we use click and hold to click it. And then we use send keys to type in Selenium test right here. So if I go ahead and run this for you, we see that it clicks there and then it types in Selenium test right there. So that's the first function that we write, and this is basically to send different keys into a text box. The next thing I'm going to show you is how we can use the shift button on your mouse, on your keyboard, using the Actions API. And so again, let's create a different function right here. This time we go to the same URL right here. We specify text box 2, and then we start our actions chain. The first thing we do is we go to the element right here, and then we click and hold, and then we click, we use dot key down right here, and then we use the shift key. And so this basically tells the Actions API that we're going to click the shift key down, and then it enters the text, enter Selenium test in text box. And since we're doing this with the shift key down, this should instead be all uppercase now because we're using the shift button. So let me show you how that works. As you see, it all shows up in uppercase right here, despite this being lowercase because we're using the key down shift. Next, I'm going to show you how we can click the shift key down and then click the shift key up. And this basically involves an additional command to lift the shift key up. So I'm going to paste my code over here. So same thing, we go to the URL right here, and then we find the text box 3. We move to the element, we click it, we press the shift key down, and we type in AB, so this should be all uppercase. But then this time we're going to click shift key up, and we lift the shift key, and now we send CD, and this should remain lowercase. And basically what you'll see is you should see uppercase AB because shift key is down, and then lowercase CD because we lifted up the shift key. So go ahead and run this. Drag this over. And you see, we see what we expected right here. Okay, so now that we know how to use the shift key, let's look at some other stuff. So let me show you some other things we can do with the Actions API. So go ahead and paste over this function right here. And what this one does is this basically we go to the element right here, and then we just type in Python Selenium. So this is very simple. This is how we can do this without writing all this like move to the element, press and hold, and then enter. It's just one line. You can just move to the element right here, and then we can type in Python Selenium. So this makes this really allows you to clean up your code. So I'm gonna go ahead and maximize this, and you see it just types in Python Selenium. Next, I'm going to show you how we can use some other keyboard interactions. For example, we can use Control C and stuff on your code. So again, we go to the web page right here, and then we type in, we find the text area 1 right here. And then we specify that command control is keys.control right here. Basically, that's just saying that later when we use this variable, it's just a control key. So down here, for example, it's really, we're just doing keys.control. You don't really need this, but we just specified it here. And then we have our actions chain. So in our actions chain, the first thing we do is we go to the element text area 1, we click and hold, and then we type in Python Selenium. And then now what we do is we use the keys. We're basically going to do arrow to the left. And so this, what we'll just do is, like, if it's right here, after we type, it'll basically bring it all the way to here, right here. And then after doing that, we'll say shift, and then we'll do arrow up. And what this should do is this should highlight all of your text right here. And then after that, we're going to do control, command, and then we're going to do control send keys XVV, and this is basically just control C, and then we lift up the control, and then we perform it right here. And this should basically control, and then this will paste it basically. So let me show you how this works. Go ahead and run this code. Bring it over, maximize it. So basically it types into here Python Selenium, and then it copies that, and then it pastes Python Selenium again. Okay, so that's how we can use control and copy and paste using keyboard interactions. Next, I'm going to show you how we can right click an element on the web page using the Actions API. So go ahead and paste this. And this time right here, the only difference right here is this actions chain. We specified the element that we want to click, and then we just use dot context click to click it. So go ahead and run this. Let me see if there's something wrong, because for example, right here, let me do this again, actually. There we go. Let me run this now. And then bring over the window, maximize it. Basically, you see it right clicks the element right here, and this thing popped up. Okay, sometimes you don't want to right click, and sometimes you just want to double click it. And so that's what I'm going to show you right here. We'll basically get the element to the Actions API to double click the element. And instead we use dot double click clickable right here. And then we have our element that's specified right here. So go ahead and click that, run the test, bring this over, and this is using localhost instead. So you see, basically, if you didn't see what happened, we have this localhost 5000 right here. And let me run that again for you. Basically, this number is 0, and we tell it to click increase number right here. So it clicks that, and now the number is 2. So that's double clicking. Some other things we can do is drag and drop. So I'm going to go ahead and paste this function over here. This time we have the draggable and the droppable, and then we have the redroppable, different things right here. And then we have the Actions API. Basically, we do drag and drop. So we drag the droppable, draggable, and we drop at the droppable. And then we run again. We do drag and drop, and we drag the draggable, and then we drop it at the redroppable, and then we perform that. So let me show you how this works out. So we have our drag and drop. So we drag this and we dropped it there, and then we sleep for a bit, and then we drag it and we drop it back to where it was originally. So that's the drag and drop using the drag and drop command in the Actions API. Next, you can also do a bunch of different things with scrolling. So for example, let me show you something we can do. If you want to scroll to the bottom of a web page, you can just specify the footer, and then you can just scroll to that element right here using the Actions chain. So this is in this URL. So let's see what this looks like. So maximize it. We're going to tell it to scroll all the way down to the bottom. So you see it scrolls all the way down to the footer right here. We can also scroll to other locations on the web page. So if I go here, we can do scroll. So we scroll origin. We'll specify that as right here, and then we'll tell it to scroll to 200. So we want to scroll it from here to here. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. Drag this over, maximize it. And we see it doesn't scroll all the way to the bottom. It scrolls to 200 right here. There's another, finally, I want to end it off with another scrolling. So we can do scroll right here. We'll do another scroll test. And basically, let me show you this. This time we're scrolling to an element on the web page. So we specify head as this element, H1 right here. And then we want to scroll from the element. So we start at the element and we scroll to this right here. So let me show you what we do. So basically, if I bring this over, maximize it, we're starting at the element and then we're scrolling to the same location. And yeah, so these are some different things you can run with the Actions API. We looked at scrolling, we looked at dragging and dropping, double clicking. We looked at different things you can do with your keyboard, for example, Control C, Control V. We also looked at how you can use the Shift key, and we also looked at some other things involving, for example, typing into text boxes and so on. So Actions API, it's very, very powerful. You can tell it to do a bunch of different commands and different action chains. If you found this video helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you next time.